This is episode 93 of Seti Bimco, and this is episode 43 of Seti Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge. This week we're going to watch 1978's Mardi Gras Massacre, continuing our little Jack Weiss?
Jack Weiss.
Weiss? Marathon?
I'm going to say Jack Weiss. Yeah. Could be Jack Weiss. Could be. Well, say it with a Cajun accent because clearly this guy is from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Jack Weiss.
We got things
Jack
to
Weiss.
say about
This is
it.
one of those Jack Weiss movies. Mardi Gras Massacre. How's that?
Yeah, it's good. We're going to need that.
I'm good.
Episode.
I'm good at accents.
But this week, also, we're going to answer the age-old question, George.
Age-old question.
Did
sold.
Pete Best.
Pete Best. The original drummer for the Beatles, everybody.
Did he ever get revenge on his brothers who, at the big Guy Fawkes turkey feast, would always ask him, can you handle the drumsticks?
It's Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted.
Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. We're going to talk about that movie we talked about. And we're also
going to talk a little bit about Pete Best because I have a question.
Okay. I'm going to pick a wild card.
He doesn't want to
question.
seek revenge on the other Beatles for kicking him out and replacing Ringo Starr. He wants to just seek revenge on his brothers for mocking him with drumsticks.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His brothers just picked on him. Yeah.
What is his brother's names? They're like Pete Better and Pete Worse. That's not how names work, George. You're stupid.
No.
You're dumb, George.
Best.
And
one's Bester Best. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it be better if it's actually their names are like second, like the second kid, like second best?
Yes.
Yep. What else? What else can we do?
That's it.
How about
Numbers?
Chesty Best? Numbers?
Chesty Best? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. The movie we just watched has made me thinking about bosoms.
Maybe Western Best, and they're always like, is
Best,
it Best
Western? Yeah.
Like,
That's a good one.
It's Western Best.
What about what about Pete Best, but it's spelled like Pete, like the moss that they mine from Scotland?
Sure. For the flower
why not?
beds?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why nowhere sucks. Cut all out.
That's why we're good at improv, because at the end of talking about each movie, we pick a wild card now and we say, who from this movie would be most likely to do something? And I picked it.
What is the number and what is the improv?
28. Who from this movie would be most likely to bring up Sasquatch during a colonoscopy?
Wow. Wait. Okay. We've had other ones before at Sasquatch. Sasquatch during a bris. It's like you were just going through a list of like most uncomfortable social gatherings possible. Like, what would make this worse than an 8-foot tall monkey man? I regret to inform the listeners that tonight's movie had no Sasquatches in it.
No, even though it's down near the bayou, not in it.
Nope. Yeah, this one proper
New Orleans.
Proper New Orleans film. I was just there, and there were so many recognizable areas. It was pretty delightful.
Yeah, I thought I've seen these in other movies. These
areas. It's very. This movie, it is cool. Like, you know, we've done this before where we do these kind of regional movies, and we always get excited. Like, or you know, even like we say, like a New York film in the '60s. You're like, shit, you don't always get to see New York at this time period. This is like some real touristy areas of New Orleans, like.
Yeah.
And it's shocking how little they've changed over the decades.
Right. But before we get to the movie, is anything important to say? Or should we get right into it? There's so much to say. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Two more mice. We thought the mice drama was over, but
oh god,
two more in the last 3 days.
This is to remind people, Tim has a no-kill capture policy of mice in his apartment. His dog Soul sits there watching, she doesn't give a shit. What is the total now that you've caught and released in the nearby park?
12.
12 mice.
And they don't get into food. I don't see open, the only thing they did, there's a label on the Wesson bottle. They chewed it up.
I'll tell you, there's something you haven't figured out yet that is drawing them in there. It's probably dog food.
It's in a can, closed up.
But does Soul eat all her food when you give it to her, or does she kind of leave a little bit?
When we saw we had mice, we're like, we're not leaving any food out. So
How about the food you leave for that woman you keep captive in your basement? Does she
they
eat
can't
it
get
all
to
in
that
one?
either. That's locked up, of course. That's locked up.
Okay. All right. Then
I will tell you that the last mouse in the past I've talked about these mice. They all run up a tree. I let them off.
disturbing.
And Sol
Yes.
knows this. And he's like, "Ooh, a mouse! I want to chase it." And I make sure she doesn't catch it. But this time, I should explain. This park I go to, it's not a park with a fence. It's raised up, so it's like all the park is 5 feet off the sidewalk. You know, I don't know.
There
if
is
it's an embankment.
Yeah, and there is a stone wall that circles most of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm in there.
Yeah.
Let this mouse go.
Uh-huh.
Soul's kind of hopping around. She saw it. I didn't see where it was, and she scared it, and it ran right off the 5-foot embankment, plunged to its death. I guess.
No, I think a mouse would be fine from that.
I think it would be fine.
There are things that would kill it, and like for instance, I'm just gonna blast you a little bit here. Tim
hawk.
lives in the vicinity. There is a hawk there, actually.
Don't say where I live. It's probably illegal.
I'm not gonna say where you live. Yeah, I'm just gonna say you live in the vicinity of many famous people. It's pretty fancy, including is famed actress rather, or whatever. You know, we're a gender positive podcast. Rosie Perez.
Yep.
Famous for, let's say, the voluminous power of her lungs. Imagine the shrieking that Rosie Perez, famed actor, would do if one of those mice that you let loose were, instead of running up a tree, to run up her leg.
I will say it's funny. I'm not making fun of her, but when she would walk her dogs in the park, she'd wear dark sunglasses and a hat. But she starts talking like, "Oh, it's Rosie. I hear
it's
her."
Rosie Perez. Yeah. Did I ever tell you my Rosie Perez story?
No.
I'm going to say this is probably close to 30 years ago. I'm sitting on the subway, just kind of like staring ahead. This is before, we had, I guess you could have had headphones and like a CD player, but I sure didn't. There's this woman like just kind of like comes up and stands uncomfortably close to me. And it was like a somewhat crowded platform. I'm like, why is this lady standing so close? And I'm kind of like, but she's very small. And I'm just kind of, what's going on? And then a few moments later, some guy comes up and starts talking to this woman. And she's like, look, please just leave me alone. And I recognized as soon as she spoke, it was famed actor Rosie Perez. And she stood close to me as a way of kind of trying to hide from this creepazoid fan who was following her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't say to you like, "Hi, Tom, how are you?" That's what you're supposed to do.
No, yeah, she didn't. No, I mean, let's see. This is George 30 years ago, so maybe it might even be longer
child.
now that I think about it. I am a reedy little child, like just like I had long, floofy hair, probably weighed about 150 pounds, soaking wet. I wasn't going to be a very good deterrent, but I think she just but the thing is, Rosie Perez, most people don't know this. She's only about 3 foot tall.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, folks, I was making a joke and Tim didn't even know to laugh at it because she really is tiny. He's like, she might actually only be 3 feet tall. But I'm happy to report as soon as it happened, she immediately walked away and went to a station booth attendant. And then the guy stopped following her. So it's all happy.
This mouse ran out of the park, actually across the street from where?
Right back into your house.
No, across the street from where the father of famed director
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee's father lived right across the street there, but he passed away recently, actually. He used to be in the park playing the horn, playing music.
Nice. And we should just say his name because he Stanley. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that Spike Lee is. No, it's true.
Let's talk about the movie. That's a good segue. That's a good segue to talk about the movie.
Good segue. All right. So, this movie, it's a little little duology we're doing here. Last week, because we know you know this, I'm just reminding you, because we all know, Lordy, like you Steady Bimco listeners, you come back week after week.
You're loyal.
What did we do last week? What was the name of it?
It was Crypt of Dark Secrets, I believe.
Yeah, kind of nonsense title. And it was by this director, Jack Weiss, and it hurt me. So in some sort of like, almost like the way like when you like you run over a rattlesnake and with its last power, it will reach out and bite you and infect you with its venom. Right. Or a bumblebee, perhaps. Like, it's being, you swat it in your hand, it stings you, even though it knows it's death. even though I knew this was near death for me as well, I inflicted another movie by the same director on Tim to pay him back for making us watch Crypt of Dark Secrets.
But I love this movie. I loved them both.
That's they're actually the first one really. I will say, I'm going to say this up front. I think this is a much better film than the one we watched last week.
Right.
And that still, it doesn't mean it's a good film.
No.
It is by this guy, Jack Weiss. He was apparently a local film director for kind of, I guess, drive-ins and stuff in New Orleans. But right before we started, Tim had sent me a thing. Perhaps he found a LinkedIn profile. This man seems to still be alive and working.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at IMDb, he directed like some sort of documentary about Melissa Etheridge. I'm like, can't be right.
Really?
But maybe it is. Who knows?
I looked around the internet, and other people are like, he seems to have disappeared. I read other websites that went in depth about this movie and other movies. And they're like, no one seems to know exactly what happened to him.
But that LinkedIn was weird. I wonder if it's a case of like, because his name is spelled unusually. Normally Weiss is with two S's. Yeah, maybe it's his son. Yeah, maybe he's a vampire. He's from New Orleans, kind of famous for having vampires there. He seems obsessed with Aztec gods. Maybe he's just plain immortal.
Obsessed with oiling women.
Yeah, he is. So this movie, like Tim said, was released in 1978, though not without controversy. It is listed as one of the famous video nasties in the UK. In the US, it got a straight up X rating.
Whoa.
And yeah, did you catch that?
No, I didn't see that.
Which
it's odd.
All things considered, yeah, but there is a lot of full frontal nudity and some gore. Mm-hmm. But all things considered, it is pretty tame. So I think that speaks to the fact that, Tim, you and I have ruined ourselves and maybe our entire civilization. Like, we look at this, we're like, this is nothing. I showed this to a little kid. Whereas, like, in 1978, people are like, this can't be seen at any cost. And, like, in the UK, they banned it until, like, 2012 or something.
Well, it was eclipsed by Star Wars. That's what happened, George.
Everything was eclipsed by Star Wars. Also, Tim, the nation had just recovered from 8 years before the Beatles splitting up.
Right.
And so they were looking for something.
Still sad.
Yeah. Let's see what else. This is interesting. If you go to Wikipedia, it is described as a semi-sequel to 1963's Blood Feast, which is a Herschel Gordon Lewis film.
I read that too.
And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of researching, and like every website you will like say that because some idiot wrote it on.
We'll say
I think I found. No, they're like, well, it's a semi-sequel. But what does that mean? Is there a character in same? No. This is what apparently is. Turner Classic Movies of all place has a write-up of this movie where they call it a semi-remake. And if you read the description of Blood Feast, it's about and this is a bit of spoilers, folks. It's about a priest to an Egyptian god who does human sacrifices. So he kind of took the plot and redid it, like put it in New Orleans, changed it to an Aztec. So whatever. Don't read everything. Believe on
Turner movie. They what happened to them?
Well, no, they did the work.
Downhill.
No, Turner Classic Movies is the one who did the work. It's Wikipedia, just some schmuck. If you're the schmuck who wrote that, guy, I'm calling you out. It's not a fucking semi-sequel.
Took down my Wikipedia page.
It's probably the same guy.
Or her.
Yeah, who? And listen, if you took down my co-host Tim Hamilton, this guy, he's a New York Times best-selling author. We don't mention that enough, but he is. The guy works for the New Yorker. We're for Fahrenheit 451.
That's right.
He's a male adult film star. He's a fashion designer. I mean, you're the great
on there.
No, it's all you. There's the great grandson of Alexander Hamilton.
Right.
All this stuff. Like, whoever took this guy down, this guy is noteworthy as fuck. Yeah. SETI listeners, put it back up. Anyway, that's the side. What else?
Can I add? I don't know if you found this. Did you find? I want to shout out Bleeding Skull website. Did you find this?
Familiar. I maybe read this.
Well,
but tell me what you're going to say.
Ronald Tannant. For those, we'll get into it. But Ronald Tannant was an actor in the last movie, Crypt of Dark Secrets, and he's the guy who's very wooden. Does not act. He's also in this movie playing a police officer who's very wooden and can't act.
Yeah, so this guy's terrible.
Somebody interviewed him, and he said,
"I did not see this. This is exciting." Yeah,
I remember walking out of the Lowe's State Theater on Canal Street after watching the movie we're watching tonight, Mardi Gras Massacre, and a woman came up to me and she said, "You're one of the stars in this movie. I live in the Iberville projects, and I'm on food stamps. And this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I can't believe I spent $4 on this movie." And he said, "I reached into my pocket and gave her $4. She was wrong. It was horrible."
Wow. Wait, I wish I knew this beforehand, Tim, because I could have done a George's current currency kerner on how much $4 was in 1978.
Well, it's about 10 because that's what we pay to get in the movies now. But $4, you didn't pay $4 to get in the movie in 1978. I didn't.
That does seem like a lot, right?
Yeah. What movie theater was this?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he says maybe it's a fancy. Yeah. It's the premiere. Yeah, it was probably like they probably had it like, you know, catered with like gumbo and etouffee and shrimp.
She said, "Where's Darth Vader? This was terrible.
I can't believe the Beatles split up. Zapruder film, Sasquatch."
We're in Star Wars territory.
Okay. All right. So
no
the
one
movie
knows
starts,
what came out in 1978.
Yeah, actually. I mean, Star Wars 77. What? Like, no movies came in 78, right? Because it was still playing Star Wars.
No. Or was that Superman? Was that also 77?
I think it's 79.
Oh, yeah.
Come listen to old men talk about what years they think movies might have released on the next episode of SETI BIMCO.
I think it was 78.
Right. So, movie opens up with like just the title, Mardi Gras Massacre. No music, nothing really moving. So long, I literally thought the movie stopped. And then it just starts. I got up from my spot to go see if like it was playing.
Because it's in a bar, right? So start in a bar?
No, it just starts off with just the words. And then we go to a bar. Our bartender is the same guy who played one of the thieves in the last movie, Crypt of Dark Secrets. Yeah, he was the main thief, the guy who like goes to the island.
He looked like he had a bald cap on with that hairdo. Didn't he?
Yeah, it's same hairdo in the last one though. That guy. That's just he is. Some of us are blessed with hair, and some of us are blessed with very long hair on the sides and back, and nothing on top. We call that a friar tuck. He should have cut his hair shorter.
He did. He should have.
Yeah.
He's called Sam, by the way.
He is. Yes, he is called Sam. I know. I thought that. I'm like, that's on purpose, right? Like they're doing that. Like give me because they even say like they even make a like. Oh, so these two ladies of the night come in. Yeah.
You're thinking Sam from Play It Again. I'm thinking Sam from Cheers.
That's two. And actually, Sam from Casablanca is not a bartender. He's a musician. But I was also thinking Sam I Am because, you know, there's all that bit of green eggs and ham.
Yeah. And
Sam Peckinpah.
From Yosemite.
Yosemite Sam. Yeah. He's always going, tarnation and shooting. Who else? Let's other Sam.
Uncle Sam.
Sam the Eagle from the Muppets. He's like, I don't approve of this. I'm a Muppet. What else?
That's it.
All right, man, we sure did list a lot of Sams, huh, Tim? We have a good time in this podcast. So two ladies of the night come into this bar. I just want to mention, I swear to God, I've been in this bar. Every bar we see in this movie, I swear to God, I've been in because that's exactly what New Orleans still looks like. Like nothing changed.
One was a real bar. It was like Joe's.
I think they were all, you know, Tim, I bet you're right. Some of these were not real bars. Some of these were bad sets, now you mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, some of them. We'll get to them.
We'll get to that.
Two ladies come in, and the bartender is right away like, you know, there's a lot of bars, a lot of Johns in the bar tonight.
Yep.
You girls are just in time for the late shift because 15 girls have already scored.
Yep.
He seems all happy, but then he's like, but you better give me my cut. He suddenly turns.
That's why he's happy, because he gets a cut.
But I thought he was a friendly bartender, but suddenly he's like, I better get mine.
I will say, of the various pimp-like characters in this movie, he was the most friendly.
Yes, that's saying something.
And, well, this is the part I wrote down. I was able to translate my awful handwriting. Yeah. So the two girls go sit there on the side, and this John comes in. He speaks in this, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's very well dressed, kind of like actually has a little bit of presence, which you don't expect in a movie like this. Like he might have been a real actor, but I couldn't find any of the actings for him. You know, his name was like Medsco. I'm like, he didn't have anything else. Yeah. Kind of spoke in a very stilted and proper way, almost a trace of an English accent. And he was also given to very lengthy pauses.
Yes.
Like stunningly long pauses. And he asks the two women, of all the ladies in this bar, which do you think is the most evil? Folks, I'm not exaggerating the pause. Like each time I'm like, wait, did the line end? And they're like, "Oh, Shirley is."
Yeah, I
Which
know.
there's a real room for a joke like, "Surely you're joking," but they don't do it.
And George.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
She's the most evil woman in the bar.
Uh-huh.
You know how evil she is, George?
How evil is she, Tim?
She's so evil.
Yeah?
She won't listen to Pat Boone records because she thinks they're not white enough. She's so evil.
Yeah.
She sends her steak tartare back, complains that it's overcooked.
Okay. Wait. I don't get that one.
She's so
I
evil.
honestly don't get, yeah. Okay.
Hitler enjoyed hell for many years until she got there.
Oh, she's also a buzzkill. Okay. All right.
She's so evil.
Uh-huh.
Her favorite comic strip is Ziggy.
Oh, Tim. This is like a greatest hits of things you're obsessed with.
She's so evil.
Yeah.
Her
Zapruder
dad
film.
needed a wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
So she bought him a discount model with only one wheel. There you go.
Discount unicycle. Nice. Ow, I just poked myself in the eye. So surely, as you folks have heard, clearly we're dealing with the
She's
being of
very
pure evil. Yeah, very evil.
This is Shirley, right?
Yes, Shirley.
Yeah.
And so the John goes up to Shirley. He's like, "So I would like to employ you." And she's like, he goes, "How much do you want?" And she says, $200.
Uh-oh, do we have to do...
Start the music, Tim. George's current currency kerner. George's current currency kerner. Folks, get ready for it. There's a lot in this episode. Tim, you want to guess how much $200? A $200, let's say sex worker, because we're not beasts,
Well,
Tim.
I was going to
Even though
address
this
that.
term will use the movie, they use some terms.
George, we're going to address this is 1978, and they say hookah every other word.
That, you know what's funny? I am going to say they do say hooker a lot in this, and for some reason, everybody has a New York accent for that one word.
Yes.
They will be speaking, no matter what the language, they say hookah. Anyway, do you want to guess how much hookah, $200, like how much buying power that is now, Tim?
Maybe that's 600.
Kind of close. $941.87.
Oh, I'm off by $300. That's not close.
But if you flipped the 6
$900.
upside down, it would have been 9. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's close in that sense. This has been your first installment of many of George's Current Currency Kerner, as well as the first and only, hopefully, installment of me educating Tim on the proper ways to refer to sex workers, because I'm enlightened. All right.
I'm living in the year. The apartment is apartment 4, and she said that's her lucky number.
Yeah, I wrote that down because I thought that was going to pay off. It didn't.
Oh, it does pay off, George.
It does?
Do you know why that's her lucky number?
Who's in the list?
No, it's just because her dog named Lucky has 4 legs.
Oh.
And her goldfish, that only has 1 leg. So
that's weird that her goldfish has 1 leg. And I do want to talk about, because Lucky does come up later. Lucky is named Lucky because Lucky survived a streetcar accident. But what is sad about that is even though Lucky did have 4 legs before, Lucky was a rare 5-legged poodle before the streetcar accident. So Lucky became, in fact, less lucky because lost its extra leg.
But it lived with her.
That's also unlucky. Because here's the other sad thing, Tim. Yeah, because she dies and then nobody looked unlucky and Lucky starved to death. If Lucky had still had that 5th leg, it might have lived off the extra protein a little bit longer, but it didn't. Also, Tim, every dog in this movie is dead now. Every dog.
If he knew how to open the refrigerator, because that's where she put it, in the freezer.
She saved it. She goes, that'll be for Christmas dinner. So yeah, they go to apartment 4. It's a nicely little put together house with a little tea parlor. Little set. Yeah, it's a little corner. We only see half of it. And then he takes her into another room and he goes, I want you to take, wait, let me do it. I don't remember the voice he's doing it before.
He's just
I want you to take off your clothes and lay down on this bed. He pauses like that. I'm like, why did he pause for bed? Because it's not a bed. It looks, it's like a leather. It almost looks like the sort of chair you would see in a doctor's office, but it's in a room that has like a stage. Like there's a curtain behind it.
Everything's red.
And you better believe this lady. And spooky music starts playing. Spooky windy music. So
this
we watch.
Woman, you're gonna think I'm lying.
Yeah.
Her name is Laura Minsk. She's Playboy Playmate of the month of February in 1975.
Wait,
She's
really?
the first victim. Yes, I found it.
All right.
She says, I get my innards cut out by a guy wearing an Aztec mask. One of the worst movies ever made. I'm proud.
Tim, spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
What does he? He doesn't know his great pauses. He says, "Lie down,"
because he's got to go change.
and I will make you more comfortable or something. Yeah, he goes and changes. He comes out in. I wrote down. I thought it was supposed to be like a Greek mask or something. We learn later it's supposed to be an Aztec mask. He's wearing like a gold mask. He's got like kind of robes on. She goes, "Oh, you are weird." No, because it looks like garbage. Looks like fucking trash. And he has this picture of a god on the wall that kind of looks like the guy in the Pringles can. It's like just a weird mustache. I'm like, what is that? And then, you said you were the most evil. Well, I am going to sacrifice you to evil because you are one of their kind. I'm going to kill you with these long pauses.
You're going to kill me, George.
It's so hard for you. You're like, oh, I got to fill the dead air. So he, so this woman.
Oils are up. That's all we need. The
oils are up.
Every woman.
Full frontal nudity, and like it's kind of. I'm like, this guy, the actor, he's really rubbing the boobs, and a couple times. This one he doesn't. He definitely glides his hand over the crotch. I'm like, damn, this is like some horny shit. Yes. And he's like rubbing her, giving her massages, and all. She's like, "Oh, I should be paying you for this." And she's like, he's like tying her feet to the edges of this like quote unquote bed as he does it. And then he has her. Next thing you know, and it's not like we're cutting, like just we're watching a naked woman being rubbed with oil for a long time. She's tied, spread eagled, and spread armed. I guess that's still spread eagled, right? To the bed. And then that's when he actually says, I think probably the sacrifice line, because he wouldn't say it before. And he pulls out a knife and he goes, "Let this hand which accepted the money," and then he stabs her in the hand and she screams. I'm like, oh, we're gonna watch this. Yeah. Then he cuts her foot. Because he says something about like this foot which brought you here, and then he says, "And then I will cut you in the what area which brings you your money or something or what you're doing." And I'm like, please don't show this. And thankfully he doesn't. He stabs her in the torso,
a very fake torso.
Well, I wanted to talk about that. I actually thought that was pretty good. Like, so there's a scene before this when I wasn't expecting murder, where we have like a close up of the woman's naked torso, and he's like kind of like rubbing like the boobs, and it was clearly made from a cast of the actual actor. Yeah. But I was noticing the oil looked weird on it. I'm like, that oil is soaking in funny. So he cuts her open, pulls out a heart, and then holds it up to the picture of the Pringles can. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing else in her. She screams, and it's like, I'm like, wow. She's dead. And she's dead. And we see a close up of her face turn to the side with blood coming out.
Now, can I say something?
Yeah.
To save time.
Uh-huh.
We see the same scene 3 times. It's excruciating detail.
Yeah.
Just going to get to the next part. He could have saved so much money with the other murders with raising a knife up and a scream and like cut.
I was going to get to that when we got to them, like not go into the bits, but like I do think it's like this is the part where I could kind of see why people like decried this movie. I'm like, all right, this is a little, it's icky. We don't need to see the exact same thing play out. No. 2 more times. The third time, honestly, there's a slight difference, and I was really excited. We'll get to it shortly. So then,
we find her body on the train tracks.
Yeah, and it's the tracks. If you've been to New Orleans, if you know New Orleans, it's literally the tracks are on the other side of famous Cafe Du Monde. You can see that in the background. So like all these tourists are probably sitting there getting their beignets and their coffee, and like on the side they're filming like, all right, this is where the naked woman with her heart cut out is being picked up.
And the police seem unfazed. There's 2 cops.
Yeah, and did you catch any of their names? Because I sure didn't.
Not these 2. I know our main characters.
Oh, you do? Oh, these aren't the main characters.
The 2 cops that seem to be finding her. They're like, dead woman.
Oh, another dead sex worker.
No, you didn't know the names that the 2 cops we're going to follow through this movie are Frank and Mayor.
Mayor?
That's what you mean. Mayor is the name of the dead-eyed. I don't mean to be mean. The actor who can't act. His name is Mayor.
I just called them Cop and Wood.
And Frank. Wow.
Yeah.
Because Frank, spoilers, Frank falls in love with a hookah.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising me. So they go in, they ask around at like the bar where I guess she was a known sex worker.
Yes.
And
George.
Yep.
making me feel awful.
Well,
They say hooker through this whole.
they do,
okay.
but I'm not. Look, if I'm quoting that, I'm going to say hooker. If I'm going to try my darndest not to when I'm not quoting them. It's like, Tim, did you have this problem? Like, there's a lot of movies we could address this with. We won't.
Yes.
So yeah, they go and they interview the two women. One of them, whose name is I wrote Sharon, but I think it was actually Sherry.
Yep,
is
Sherry.
like, she's like, yeah, I can tell you about them. And they're sitting there and like, she seems to be flirting with one of the cops, I guess our main cop. And I didn't really, I'm like, oh, this can't really be happening.
Frank is flirting with Frank.
I just call him Cop. Well, Frank, he's our main guy. And the two of them go off for like breakfast or something.
Well, the wooden cop is there. It's
Well,
very
the wooden
odd.
cop leaves. He's like, well, I'm out of here. And he just walks off.
He grabs Frank. He says, take it easy. And then he walks away. You notice that?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't understand what's going on.
And when he asks about Shirley, I just want you to know, Shirley mostly doesn't like to turn tricks, but sometimes she likes to. Or does she tell us that?
She tells us that, and she says,
Okay.
she goes, not when they're old middle-aged guys like that. When they approach her, she's talking to a guy. I love this scene. Folks, watch it. The guy next to him like spikes the camera so hard, like they're having the scene, and it's like an extra in the side, just staring at the camera. Like, dude, come on!
I totally missed it.
Oh, it was my favorite. This is probably why I miss the important things, because I'm watching shit like that. Yeah, so I don't know. They go to breakfast someplace else. The other cop leaves because he's like, "Take it easy. You're getting involved with like this hooker," as he would say.
Yes.
That did it. Very happy, Tim. The next table, this really bizarre bar fight opens. There's like a guy there with the 70s tastic with two women, and one of the women starts slapping the other woman, saying, "Stop doing that." Looks like she's flicking sauce on her.
Oh, I think the man slaps the woman, right?
Oh, then the man slaps both of them.
Yes.
And then the cop throws the man up against the wall.
Pulls his gun.
Is going to take him in. And Sherry, the sex worker that we are our female lead, she's like, "Don't take him in." He goes, "Okay." And then
says, "Get out of here."
He goes, "Get out of here." And they go out, and presumably the guy just goes out and like beats those women to death because like he was a creep.
Probably.
But, you know. And then she's like, "I owe you one." And then the smash cut to them in bed.
They're in bed.
What I love too, he's laying there naked in bed, right? Presumably naked, he's shirtless. She comes in like just like wearing see-through negligee, and he seems surprised.
I know.
Like, what did you think was happening here? Did she actually just legitimately go out of the room for? And you're like, "Well, I'm going to try to get naked, see what happens." And she came back actually like maybe like she was into it.
He does say, "Show me what you do."
Yeah. She goes, "Paint me like one of your French girls." And they fuck. We don't see that, luckily. We see a little bit of kissing. Given this movie, I'm surprised we didn't see some sweaty fucking.
I'm surprised, too.
Yeah.
Not in the other movie either, so maybe he just... It's funny.
Yeah, he really reserves all his nudity for murder.
For oiling.
For oiling. Oh, it's oiling and... yeah.
Last movie, the woman that danced naked was all oiled up.
Yeah,
That's
and
saying this.
a lot of oiling, and like there really are some weird fetishes that work out. It's pretty hilarious. Mm-hmm. The oiling, the Aztec thing is in both.
Yeah,
Aztec, like there's a bit too. Like I don't know. So then we see the killer. He does the same thing again. We're just going to cut to the chase.
Wait a minute, George. We are going to cut to the chase. But he goes to another bar. Buys the ladies champagne and says, "Who's the most evil woman in here?" But don't you like that? I'm sad. Every woman in this movie seems to hate each other. She walks back and says, "There's someone here for you, you bitch."
Yeah, they just call each other bitch.
Because she's like, "This is the most evil woman," or she's like, "He's asking for the most evil woman."
And the woman that says that, Tim, first, the John goes up to her and goes, "Hey, I need some information." She goes, "Well, champagne's $3 a bottle."
Okay, we got to do this.
Ring the music. George's current currency Carter. George's current currency Carter. Tim, do you know how much a $3 bottle of champagne would sell for nowadays?
25.
No, like $14.13. That's bad champagne.
See, that's bad.
That's good. This is a bad place. So yeah, she hooks her up with another evil girl.
George. George. He asked for the most evil woman in here, and she's like, I'm as evil as anyone gets, George. So you know how evil she was?
We're doing this every time? Okay. I'm glad we're trying to speed through these murders by making evil lists. All right, go.
She is so evil. She has a side business installing shag carpet in people's bathrooms.
Oh, that actually is pretty bad.
She's so evil. She plays the bass cowbell in her all cowbell rock band.
I don't get it, but that's weird. All right.
She's so evil. She makes her brother wear bell-bottom jeans all the time, even though her brother has no legs. She's so evil.
Yeah.
When she saw Star Wars in the theater, she constantly shouted, "Why don't the Vulcans have pointed ears?" All through the whole movie.
There's no way she knew what Vulcans were, but go on.
She's so evil. She makes her pet monkey dress up as Nixon, even though the monkey is a lifelong Democrat.
Oh, that's rough.
And she's so evil. Her favorite Beatle is Mickey Dolenz.
Wow, Mickey Dolenz, famously not a Beatle. I love it. You know, you mentioned shag carpet. Did you notice? So what Tim and I are mentioning is that a lot of these places are actually strip clubs. One of the strip clubs, the stage was covered with shag carpet, and I was stunned.
I was
like,
too.
Who would allow that? Let's see. We have a montage. Then after that, so he kills this lady too, exact same way as before.
Another fake torso.
Another fake torso.
Which this time you could see they didn't edit it right. If you looked at the edge, you could see it. You could see the end of the torso.
No, really?
Yeah, they made a mistake. You could see the end of the special effect torso.
The perfect illusion is shattered. Yeah, if you like this, I mean, a lot of full frontal nudity. Like it's note for note, same thing, and that's why I was like,
coverage, as you call it, just one straight on shot mostly.
Sometimes same angles even, because there are the close-ups of like him reaching and pulling at the heart. It's like, oh, the only thing different, and it meant nothing, but I did record it because I thought maybe something, is he doesn't start this one in his weird outfit.
That's right.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, get dressed first.
Thought maybe he's slipping.
So here's
then we have then we wake up
with the hookah. We have a montage, dinner, breakfast, watching boats.
All of it in the immediate vicinity of Café Du Monde, which is fucking hilarious. Like, clearly they had a filming permit for that in the park right across the way.
Disco music through the whole thing, I think.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, we should mention that. A lot of disco music, which...
Here's some of it. Here, listen to that. Doesn't this just speak of falling in love?
I'm going to say, compared to the banjo fucking music in the last movie, I was pretty excited for this.
We cut to him sitting down with his partner, Mayor.
Yep.
He's like, 6 days we've been dating. We're talking about marriage.
No, she's been talking about marriage and kids.
Oh, that's right. And his partner's like, a vice cop and a hookah, a match made in heaven.
And
he's dating her. Why are you talking about her like that?
And also his partner has a really low opinion of him, which is appropriate. Because he's like, is she talking? The only person talking marriage here is you. And he's like, well, I know the way women talk. And he goes, well, she's getting the worst of it. She's dating you. I'm like, yeah, you fucking tell this fucking pig.
Yeah, he's not a friend at all. He's just
he shouldn't be a friend. This cop sucks. I can't believe this movie has me rooting for the block of wood from the last movie, but I liked him in this movie.
You did?
Yeah. He was the more affable of the two. Like,
if you marry a hookah, your kids will have a hookah mom, and then they'll have a hookah grandma. And when she gets mad in traffic, she'll have a honka hookah. When she vaporizes smoke in a water pipe, she'll be a hookah hookah.
Oh my God.
Who's saying this woman?
Who's saying this? The friend?
Yes. Sergeant Mayer.
No, the friend. Sergeant Mayer supports it.
He does not.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I didn't think he did. The guy who can't act?
Yeah, the one who says like she's getting the worst of it. She's with you. He's the one who was he's saying she didn't say it. No, he's like he thinks I think he thinks this is true love. He thinks this is
some random guy said that, George.
Oh, it was just that. Was it that guy, Officer Hamilton?
Yeah.
Officer Tim Hamilton. He comes in. He's like,
it's that perky woman that walks in. She goes, "Hey, we found an ESP expert." I like that.
Oh yeah, that we should talk about. So
pretty much that's next.
Yeah, the boss is talking to them like, "You got to solve this murder." And did you notice who he was? He was the sheriff from the last movie.
Yeah,
who was the best actor last movie? So I was pretty excited he came back. And he's like, we need to find out. I even called a guy at MIT about rituals. I'm like, wait,
that was antiquities.
No, he said rituals. Isn't that weird? Because they decided it's a ritualesque murders that are happening because of the way the hearts are moved. Right. But like, why would you call the Massachusetts Institute of Technology famous
if you
for
call
like
Smithsonian, they're just going to come and
they're just
hide it
gonna come
all.
and take away your
Sweep it under the
giant.
carpet.
We folks, listen, we've literally had chunks of our podcast removed by the Smithsonian. We know fucking reptilians.
We know.
Say, wink, wink, wink. You know, giants. There were giants the earth in those days. Come join us on our right wing Discord. So instead, a lady, the perky lady, after she makes all those terrible statements about hookers that Tim attributed to her, she goes, I got in touch with someone at Duke University, an ESP professor, continuing the trend of stuff from the 1970s where professors of ESP are in it.
And this never pays off. He never has ESP.
No, I did. This scene kind of lost me. Where they go speak to the ESP professor, and he pretty much immediately starts and goes, "Human sacrifice is not uncommon today," which I was like, "That's a good line." I'm writing that down. And he immediately starts talking about Aztecs, and that's to realize, holy fuck.
But they show him pictures, George. You notice he's like, yeah, not uncommon. Show you pictures of butchered women. I assume that's what the pictures were.
I assume it was close-ups of the boobs. He was just like, yeah, it's
not uncommon.
So I never recorded the name of the Aztec god. Did you?
Well, I couldn't pronounce it, George.
It was
Quetzalcoatl.
It was something close to Quetzalcoatl, but it wasn't. It was like, I think it was probably made up, but they said it translates as Lady of the Serpent Skirt, which again, I'm like, very close to the last one. This guy's really got a weird snake lady fixation. I want to meet this guy. Tim, if this is really him on LinkedIn.
Snake oil. That's
snake
salesman.
oil. What? This is interesting.
That's like these movies.
Yeah. Let's see.
He even compares Christians because they eat blood in the body of Christ. He's like, everybody's a cannibal. He was making connections everywhere.
Yeah, then he reaches into his desk drawer, pulls out a finger, and just is gnawing on it, and they're like,
At the end of being calm, he says, "But I feel this should be stopped immediately."
Does he say that?
Yes, this should be stopped, though.
This is a good movie. Then we have, wouldn't you know it, Tim? Another club. Bar. This time he doesn't actually ask.
He doesn't ask.
Well, because the woman's literally dressed as an evil.
Yeah. This is weird.
This is very weird. There's a woman on stage dressed as a devil. She's dancing, and to say dancing, on shag. She's kind of not dancing really, just and she goes and like speaks to like her pimp and says something about like, I'll go meet him at some spot. We'll go meet him at some spot. Alley. He goes, some alley. It's literally like called like Intervention Alley or Jump 'em Alley. I actually thought it was just like where he was getting his cut for the money. But she heads out with the John.
Crime Alley, George.
It was Crime Alley, right? And like there was a little Bruce Wayne there, and he was like, "I swear vengeance." And the John gets jumped by this guy who I thought was the pimp,
our villain.
The John gets jumped.
He has no name, so
let's just call him John. John gets jumped, and they kind of fight a little bit, and the guy that attacks the John pulls out a knife, and I'm not really sure what happened here.
He drops it, and the
woman
picks it up, and she accidentally stabs her partner. That's what happened.
Is that what happened? Does she get stabbed too?
No, she just recoils
it. Okay,
I stabbed him.
And that's
stabbing hooker.
Don't know why the scene's in there. I mean, I guess so you can see that he goes to a different club. Like it's just like it's like what?
And George, what do we get? We get like a hippie.
Man, I want to talk about this guy. So this is a guy. We in the course of our SETI BIMCO experience have seen a lot of irritating characters, and I will say this is the worst character in any movie we've ever seen.
Almost.
I mean, all right, folks. He is a long-haired hippie, clean shaven, but like long straight hair, glasses, very thin, and he is scat singing and rhyming the whole time. Yeah, so like comes up beep boop boop boop. He calls himself the fish. We learned also his name is Catfish.
I'm the fish. What is your wish? What is your need, man? I'm looking for something.
And he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing? I can help you with your stuff," but he rhymes it.
Yeah.
And the John's like, "Well, I would like to get a lady, a certain type of lady." He goes, "Well, it takes more than talk, or I'll have to take a walk. Skippity doo, bippity bop, bop boo." All right, bear with me. This is going to be a bit
That's
of a
what he
tour.
says.
This is a bit of a tour de force for me. All right, guys. This is pretty exciting. So, women's dancing in front of him. This annoying hippie. Oh, hippie. He's also pretending to play piano as he does the scat. So at the edge of the strip joint, it's like dappity boo, bippity doo. It's so stupid. And so the John pulls out $100 bills, and the hippie takes it. One is for fun. Two will do. Ba 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 boo ba doo. Three will take care of me. Boobity boo, boobity doo. 4, and I apologize for this language, everybody. 4 is for the whore. But for
It's like Sesame Street.
oh my god, it's like the worst Sesame Street. It's like the count's really slipped. Because, but not. I don't know what the word is, but he says something like, "But you'll need more for something. Oh, but for the specialty, you'll need more." Boo. And then he does something. I couldn't see what. And he goes, "Oh, that's not nice. Let's make this the price."
It was hard to follow.
It sucked. But I will say, Tim, I watched this part 3 times in order to get all these because I couldn't believe I was watching a scat singing hippie negotiating the price. So, all right, first off, let's do sound the music.
Fook, I guess.
He's from Fook, Arkansas. He's like, they're killing all his hippies there. Foopity boo, boopity boo. There's a giant ape man covered with hair. Floppity dee, boopity boo. All right. First, ring the bells. It's time for a George's Currency Kerner. George's Currency Kerner. $400, which gets you, that covers the hippie, that covers the quote-unquote whore, that covers even the specialty, presumably. Guess how much buying power $400 from 1978 is equivalent to now, Tim?
Oh, it's got to be 1,500.
Close. $1,883.75. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yep. Now, that has been your installment. Lot of
money, honey.
Lot of money, honey. Lot of bread, Fred. Bibbidi bop, bibbidi boop. All right. However,
So
Tim.
He takes her home.
Oh, wait. No, Tim. I'm sorry. Stopping all progress because that is the end of George's Currency Kerner. This is time for George's list.
Oh.
Because we had Fish the Hippie. He was already making the list. He ended at 4. And I was like,
more.
I wonder.
We need more than 4.
We need more than 4. Por favor. Babbidi bee, babbidi boo. So here is the list had it continued. If it turns out that Catfish the Hippie had not actually sealed the deal when he got not nice. And I'm going to do it as Catfish the Hippie, all right? Bibbidi bop,
Seal the
bibbidi
deal.
boo. Yep, 5.
Or you're not real.
nice, Tim. Bibbidi bop, 5. 5 will make you jive. Bibbidi bop, boobidi boo. 6. You won't miss any tricks. Bibbidi bop, bibbidi boop. 7. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Oh, that's weird. Kind of.
What happened?
8. Oh, they're after me. Lucky Charms. Oh, we're really wow. What's going on here? We're getting a little off topic. 9. 9 ist in Ordnung. Oh, that's just fucking German.
Don't bring that up.
That's and 10. Bibbidi bop, boobidi boop. Start over again.
Nice.
That's
Are
been
you
your
done?
list. Yeah, I'm done. Unless you want me to start over again. Bibbidi bop, bibbidi bop.
11?
1 is for fun.
11 is
Bibbidi
nothing
bop,
like 7.
11 makes your bread unleavened. All right.
Was he more annoying than the hippies we met in the movie called Bread, which we watched?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he sang scat and rhymed.
12 gets you all the apostles. There you go.
Yep. Good one, too.
13.
13. Oh, let's do the teen so we keep rhyming stuff with 13.
They're all
13, bibbidi bop, gives you clean. 14, bibbidi bop, gets you clean. Bibbidi bop, 15. Oh, made a terrible mistake. So
She goes home, and she's the
this
one
lady who he
talk
works
about.
for him, yeah.
She needs to have Chinese food.
Yep. This is fucking hilarious. This is actually an important scene, too. Because he goes, "Can I get you anything, Medea?" The John, the murderer. "Would you like anything?" She goes, "Well, I always loved Chinese food because my mom used to work for a Chinaman."
I
Like,
know.
go people.
I saw that.
Why is that the one nationality where we feel the end near? Like you never say like, yeah, it was oh, I guess you do say Englishman. Like you never smell the blood of an Englishman.
Irishman.
No. Irishman. Oh, maybe we do.
Scottishman.
Italian men.
Yeah.
Isle of Men. Is that a thing?
Men?
Well, she says that, but he goes and he orders Chinese food.
It's supposed to be Canadian men, but we say Canadian.
Oh, we fucked that up. It's so American of us. So he picks up his phone and orders shrimp rolls, lobster Cantonese, jazodong, which I don't know what that is.
Long pause.
And a fortune cookie.
He looks at her like
he invites her. Yeah, like whoa, that's all. That doesn't pay off. Actually, I remember. He invites her to take a shower, so we watch her naked showering for about 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes of just a woman behind glass rubbing herself naked. Like yeah, okay. Chinese food arrives. Tim, current currency Kerner.
I know. I have that right here. I said, wrote down. What's that today, George?
George's current currency Kerner. So $19.50, which I'm like, that's almost what you might pay for a Chinese food order today.
Yeah, in New York.
So you want to guess what that is the buying power for shrimp rolls, lobster Cantonese, jazodong, and a fortune cookie, a single fortune cookie?
$60 meal.
$91.80.
Ooh. Wow.
And he gives the guy a $10 tip, which I didn't bother figuring out because I figured it was probably about $40. And as he hands it to him, the Chinese delivery man thanks him and grabs his hand fervently, and we get a close up of his big ring, which we probably should have mentioned before. Now,
yeah.
He wears a big.
Before
They mentioned the cops for some reason mentioned something about a gold signet ring, and I was like, I wrote it down before and I skipped it over in my notes.
Because nothing ever pays off in any of these movies.
Because, yeah, man, I've learned my lesson. When they put these lists, they never pay off. This one kind of did. Kind of. So
she's different.
He takes her into the room, and he's like, well, what do you do best? She wants to pay him back because the food is so nice, and he's so nice.
He's like, George, did you notice that she's, I'm starving. She ate like 3 bites. She goes, that was great. That was it. I did,
and I honestly felt like maybe they had cut a scene. I looked away. But
I watched it twice because I thought so too.
I figured after the last movie, there's a lot of weird cuts. I just figured, he's doing it again. That's hilarious. Because I was like, did she eat? Well, it makes sense she'd eat because then she goes, he's like, well, what do you do best? And she goes, I dance. Yep. And then it's not like she goes in and does like sexy dancing like you might do on like a shag carpet stage. No. She goes in there and she does like ballet.
Yeah.
And Tim, although topless, she was wearing underwear because I'm like, this lady's classy.
Well, that ballet would have been super X-rated if no.
I think this movie was she does the ballet, and you could see our murderer. He's moved by this, and I realized he didn't because I guess this is why the scene is where he has to kill the other. He gets jumped in the alley. He couldn't be as picky about this one because he didn't ask if she was evil.
That's right.
And she's clearly not evil. Yeah, she's clearly not evil at all, this one. And he's like, how old are you? She goes, I'm 19-year-old.
Yeah, he's like, get out.
Yeah, get out. And she goes, why, mister? He's like, just get out. And I'm so excited. I'm like, yes. He changed his mind. We don't have to watch this again. But no, I'm wrong, folks. Because she's like, no, I'm going to do this anyway. She takes her underpants, lays in the bed. He kills her. It's all the same shit. It's fucked up.
Like, okay, I guess I'll kill you anyway.
Yep.
We cut to a weird scene where Frank and Sherry, Frank the cop and Sherry the whore, they're still sleeping together. But for some reason, she's like, I just found out you stole, and this is a weird bit, but the money that the woman was paid at the beginning of the movie, she gave it to the bartender for some reason, and the cop came in to talk about it, and he took the money. So
yeah,
she finds out he took the dead woman's money.
The first victim, and she gave it to him because I guess she was going with him, and she didn't want to just to keep it safe. So the cop stole the money. She's on the phone. I guess that's the bartender calling her to tell her, hey, she stole the money. So. She's like, we had to take a collection in order to bury. No, that's Sherry. What's her name?
Her name was
Shirley.
Shirley was.
Wait a second. Let's address this. You have two characters right in front, Sherry and Shirley?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
These movies are very rushed.
And
So they get in a fight, and she's like,
this
"Oh,
fight escalates so
he's
quick.
suddenly, you're nothing but a 2-bit hooker," or whatever, 1-bit. I don't
Well,
know. He calls her all sorts of things.
she calls him like a fucking pig, and he's like, "At least I ain't no $100 a night whore."
Yeah, that's what she says.
Yeah,
That's better than hookah.
it is. Tim.
What?
Well, actually, let me say one more thing.
We already did the $100, George. You can't do
No,
that
we did.
again.
We did 200.
Oh, Jesus. What was
But
it? Just tell me.
There's
I'll
more.
cut it in
There's
half.
more. There's more.
Right.
And then she goes, "Well, at least I get $100 a night. If you were a woman, you could have turned a $2 black trick." I feel like
I don't know
that's
what
maybe
that
an
is.
awfully racial thing. I don't want to think about
Yes.
it. But just so you folks know, and we don't have to play music because I realize this is a lot. $100 back in there is the equivalent to $470.94, which for a night's work is pretty fucking good. $2 is $9.42. That's not so good. We know now that wouldn't even get you Chinese food back then.
We cut to a cool song that I love the way you move when you got a groove. I wrote down some lyrics.
Super disco-y. It's the most like this. All the music is kind of disco. This is like the most. It's like we're in the prime disco stuff. We're seeing a disco-y club. All
Shirley's
these people
out dancing because she's sad that she broke up, and she gets some drinking and she fights.
Why? I have to admit at
She's
this point.
sad.
No, but like, why'd you get in the fight? I actually walked out of the room for a little bit. I'm like, well,
she's just upset that she broke up, and she's just angry drunk. That's all, George.
Why
Don't you
is
get
she
angry
there?
drunk?
Yeah, all the time. And I go disco dancing, of course. Why was she there with the other cop?
Yeah, I don't know why he was there. Mr. Wooden Cop. There's another cop there. He's just hanging out.
So like literally I was like, after like the last woman got killed, I'm like, and then this scene, I'm like, I don't need to be seeing this stuff. So I'm walking through my apartment doing shit. I hear the disco music. So I'm like, I assume they're just dancing still. And then I hear like people screaming over the dancing. I come back in, Shirley's wrestling a woman on the floor. The other cop, I'm like, I assume there was a whole scene I missed where like they were having a date because he walks her home.
He walks home because she's crying, and he's like,
middle of the day. It's middle of the day. Where was this disco playing this? It's like the afternoon. It's like 3:00. It's not late.
Yeah, but she's upset, George. Didn't you ever day drink?
I just don't. I'm just saying, day disco. I don't know.
So Frank, he's sitting with this cop Mayor again. Frank says, "Ain't no hooking today," because I guess it's Mardi Gras now.
Well, so
I don't understand.
The movie takes a very long. We're like maybe 15 minutes from the end, folks, and the movie finally tells us it's the two cops we've kind of followed and their boss again. And the boss is like, "We got to solve this case.
You got to.
It's been happening every Tuesday for 3 weeks, and next week is Mardi Gras." I'm like, none of this information was given to us before. There was no hint this was an every Tuesday occurrence. There was no mention of this being like close to Mardi Gras.
Give us a calendar.
Yeah, just at least tell us
But Frank, I guess on Mardi Gras there's no hooking because Frank's like, "There ain't no hooking today," and Mayor says, "Even you're Sherry." I'm like, "What? What kind of friend are you?"
Because I took her to a disco and
he says, "I'm willing to bet she kicked you out when she found out what a bastard you are."
Yep.
I mean,
again, because Mayor
like
hates well, Frank's an asshole. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't believe this movie made me like The Chunk of Wood. I'm like, yeah, this guy, he's the worst actor I've maybe ever seen, but he's my guy in this movie.
But Sherry is back to hooking, by the way. Because now we see what's going to happen. Now we know what's going to happen. I saw this coming halfway through the movie, even though this movie had very little plot.
Yeah. So basically, it turns out, the serial killer, we finally learn, I forget how, he's going to get powers from this god if he makes these murders. Or maybe he does. Maybe like that scene where he fights the guy in the alley was to show he was super strong. I don't know.
Well, we see Mardi Gras happen, by the way. And they're everybody's bundled up. Like it's Mardi Gras can be cold, but I thought it's mostly warm down there.
No, I mean, it's cold there. I think it was, and it's definitely we're seeing Bourbon Street. But you're right. I feel like there was even scenes where we saw snow on the ground.
Ooh. Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
We saw the Elvis Wax Museum because he just died the year before, right?
Yes. And it said, and there was a little sign in the window saying, "Coming soon, John Lennon Wax Museum."
Aw.
In 2 years. And there's a big winking face.
Wink.
What year is this?
78.
He dies in 1980.
Poor Elvis. He never saw Star Wars. Probably, maybe. You think he saw it?
Do you think Elvis would have liked Star Wars? I think he would have shot the TV out.
Probably.
I think more poor John Lennon. He probably saw Star Wars. He was like, "Oh, I wonder." Oh, let me see if I can do a John Lennon voice.
Oh no.
Ooh, I wonder what will. Oh, I'm doing Ben Kenobi. Cut all this shit out. This is all garbage.
He's like, why don't the Vulcans have pointed ears? Hey,
Hey,
John.
hey.
He called up John. Hey, John. Why don't
Wait,
the
he
Vulcans
is John.
have pointed ears?
Who called up John?
Jesus. Never mind.
Paul, it's me, John. How come in Star Wars the Vulcans don't have pointed ears?
Now you got it.
Mate. We're good. Damn, this is a good podcast.
Just cut out my part.
So
Our bad guy, he wants 3 girls.
Yep. He's going to kill 3 girls this time. He pays $500, $2,354.69. Guys, we're not doing the music again. It's too much.
He brings them home.
We also see, but we do see a sign as he's walking around. Corn, 40 cents, $1.88.
I saw
Paid
that.
$1.88 for corn. It's very probably featured.
I need to stress that Mardi Gras is very busy when he's going home. So
Yep.
By the way.
Yep. He takes the 3 girls back to the same place we keep seeing.
He gives them Pisco to drink.
Yeah, what is Pisco?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
I did notice when I read the synopsis on Wikipedia, it had a blue link, but I didn't click that blue link. So, folks, if you know what Pisco is, write to us at SETIBIMCO at Gmail with the E at the end of the Bimco. Tell us, what is Pisco?
Tune in next week to find out what Pisco is. We'll get
That's going to be our whole episode, the Pisco episode. I'm going to Pisco Kid. They drugs them. They all fall asleep.
But wait, I want to say,
Yep.
if that was a mistake, it was still genius. I loved, because they were just drinking, and it was just a cut right away that them passed out on the floor. Did you notice? It didn't.
Well, again,
it was like,
this was me literally
Either
writing
genius-
something down and looking up and like, oh, they're asleep. Assuming there was a scene cut, but apparently not.
it was just cut. They were sitting there, and suddenly they're on the floor unconscious.
All right, this is my hypothetical impersonation of the guy who what's his name? Jack Weiss.
Yeah.
It's like he's in the editing bay with his editor. Editor's like, wait, how do the girls get on the floor? He's like, look, are they naked right now? And like, well, no, not yet. Then who cares? Cut to the scene where they're naked. Guys, next scene they're naked.
Probably there was a whole scene there of him rubbing oil on them. And they're like, wait, we don't need to do that yet. Put their clothes back.
I don't care. This is why I took this role. You told me I get to rub a lot of naked ladies with oil, and I'm going to do it. He really does, man.
He does a lot.
He totally grabs the crotch of the 19-year-old too. I'm like, that's dirty.
If she really was. I don't know.
I hope she wasn't. I did notice that she was credited as 19-year-old dancer, and the actor's name was like Nina Dancer. I'm like, is that a joke? Is that a joke?
Probably.
Somehow, now this is the part I don't get. Somehow the ring thing that I mentioned before plays into. Somehow the cops.
Did you walk away from the TV again, George?
Maybe.
If I walk away from the TV and miss 5 minutes of these movies, I have sweats at night.
How do the cops have a picture of the ring?
They go to all the restaurants and ask people if they've seen this ring.
Yeah. How do they have a picture of the ring already? I get that part.
Oh wait, so they got the ring somehow, didn't they?
That's what I'm saying. Suddenly the cops know that he has a ring. And they get a picture of the ring, and they go around to all the Chinese food restaurants, I guess.
All restaurants, but the one.
Okay,
Chinese
so all the
delivery
restaurants in New Orleans, that's insane. They go around to every restaurant asking if they've noticed it with the ring. And sure enough, in this one Chinese food place, the guy's like, I remember. Like, why do you remember this? He gave me a $10 tip. So they go to this place. He gives them the exact address. They go there. And
Wait,
then,
George, they go there and the streets are empty now. Mardi Gras
it's
over.
true. It's true, right. And also, the bartender from the first scene, the guy was holding to money. He calls them up and is like, she went with the guy that I saw. So
With
he
the ring.
tells them too, which he doesn't mention the ring thing though. And then a third dude, there's a guy who's out in front of a place. He's like, it's like this guy who is, identifies as queer, which I'm like, cool. We're seeing some queer representation
I
film.
noticed that.
And he's like, the wooden cop's like, how you doing? He's like, pretty good. How you doing? You look cute today. He's like, thanks. I'm like, wow, pretty good. But he's like, did you see a guy come by with 3 women? He's like, yeah, most definitely. He's upstairs. We're having a queer party here. So it's like, the script was like, we got to get them there. And they're like, maybe the ring plays in. We don't know how the ring gets there. Maybe the bartender calls. Maybe it's this guy. Somehow they run upstairs. They're like, the door is locked. They call in the firemen. The firemen slash the door open with an axe. They
'Cause the
walk
streets are
away.
empty.
Streets are empty. Streets are so empty.
I know the fireman's like, yep, there you go.
There
Which
we
is
go.
not what firemen do. They smash the whole door down.
They hit it with an axe, like that's good enough. And then the cops kick it and they go in. The John he's got the 3 women. He stripped their clothes off. Their chain, one's on the table, and 2 more, including Sherry, are chained up to the wall. He hasn't a chance to kill him yet. He like jumps out a window.
Yep, he just runs out the fire escape.
Yep, there's a chase through Mardi Gras.
He doesn't run that fast.
Nope, he kind of
gets in the car. The mayor, our wooden cop, chases him.
Yep, he loses him. He goes, I can't find him. He doesn't start looking. He just calls for police.
Oh, I do want to say, I don't know if it's now or before, but they go into a bar and they're asking around, and the people at the bar are like, what's that cop want? And the bartender's like, some guy's making meatballs out of ladies. And they're all like, ah.
I forgot that scene. Yeah, there was a scene. This is like, I guess, a little flavor. It doesn't, it's just a weird scene, just like local flavor. The thing is funny, women are getting killed, which.
Of course. Empty streets, car chase. It
ends right
to the edge. Kind of like well, this is like a Charlie Chaplin film. He parks his car. All the police go to get him, every single one of them, and he sneaks out through some machinery and gets in the cop car.
Yeah, he drives the car. There's a little bit of a car chase. They ride over the train tracks right into the river, and then they get a crane. Yeah.
The thing is, he drove his car all the way to the pier. Then he jumped out, got in the cop car, and drove it into the water. So they must have only been able to buy that one car to go into the water.
They're like, oh, you mean the insurance doesn't cover that car? But we already filmed those scenes in that car.
Yes.
I have an idea. He switches cars. Car goes in. Driver swims down. They tells us there's no body. They they use a crane to pick it up. They find his dumb mask, and they're like, we had him. And then that's it. That's when the movie ends. The guy presumably gets away after killing a bunch of women. Revenge!
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die. I will not let Cindy take my place. I will have my revenge.
So who from this movie?
Yeah, most likely.
We haven't even thought of this. I always think I'm going to think of this, and then
we're too busy describing the movie. That's what makes it such a dangerous game. Most likely, characters movie most likely to bring up Sasquatch during a colonoscopy.
Oh, I know.
Who?
Mayor, our wooden cop.
I was thinking him too, but why?
He says random things. He just says random things. He'd be getting a colonoscopy. Oh, Jack would be his partner. He would go with him.
Jack would be getting the colonoscopy, you're right. And Mary would be like, bet he's really full of shit, huh, doctor?
Yeah.
Because he is full of shit.
He dates a hooker?
That guy, he once saw a Sasquatch in the woods. And he's like, and the colonoscopist is like, why are you saying this to me? He goes, not really sure. But he is a big dick, huh? And his girlfriend's an asshole too, and I hate him.
So there you go.
We nailed it. Tim, that was a good one. I actually feel good about that. All right.
And the assistant for the colonoscopy doctor.
Yeah. Oh, good. Wait. We always kill it when we go too long.
No, it's the hippie guy. He's going doop, doop, doopity doo.
Doodly doo. Tim. Now no more poop jokes. You embarrassed us.
That's not one. He's just there going scoot, scoot, doodly doo. Anesthesia for you. And
how do you not have him saying scat scat doodly doo? Come on.
Okay, scat scat doodly doo.
Okay.
That's after the guy's done. He's scat scat doodly doo.
So we have to change the seat cover. All right, now we ruined it. We had a nice out ending. You had to drag it back in like a giant fucking turd.
I did forget to say I'm giving this no Jack Elams. I thought there'd be a crazy old man somewhere in this movie. But really,
with crazy eyes.
None.
Wait, I forget. Does the Jack Elam rating have to have crazy eyes?
It's got to be a crazy old man.
All right. Revenge. Who goes first?
I'll do it.
I'll go first.
Okay, you need time.
No, I got it. Actually,
what time did you watch this movie today?
I finished it an hour ago.
Do you want to go first? Okay.
I'll go first. Yeah. Well, folks, start the music. There it goes. All right. Today, I'm going to tell you a story.
What if I play disco music for this one?
I would love that. Scratch it. Yeah, stop the old music. Let's put in the disco.
It's okay.
Yeah, dibbly-doo, groovy cats. This is the story of the revenge of a man named Catfish. That's right. Catfish the hippie, the pimp hippie, the rhyming, scat singing, doodly doo guy. If I had really taken my time, I would have rhymed in advance. But then I wouldn't have had time to dance to all this disco, which is playing as I speak. Doodly doo, I'm a super freak. Babba-da-boo. Now, the reason we know that he's looking for money from the 19-year-old dancer, you dig? Babba-da-boo, is she owes him for something. They don't specify, but it was a gig. It was a gig that she blew off. Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-doo. So he thought he'd make some money, signing her up with a murder-roo. All right, let's stop doing the rhyme bit. So he doesn't get back his money. You dig, Tim? Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-boo, bibbidi-bop. He's like, how am I going to get this money, man? This makes me really bummed, man. And he realizes, he reads about in the paper what happened to her. He's like, oh, that really sucks. I need to get revenge on that killer, man. Yeah. Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-boo. And he reads about the account. He was actually at Mardi Gras, you see? Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-boo. He was that guy with the mask on.
Oh.
Yeah. The guy with the mask on at Mardi Gras.
That one guy
with the mask. He's there. He's at all the scenes. It was a Popeye mask. He was like, wait, that's not Popeye. What the fuck was that? Too many voices. This is Tim. I'm sweating. This is hard what I'm doing. Trying to rhyme, trying to scat, trying to do Popeye on top of that. Oh, that rhymed. I'm a poet. Don't even know it.
Go with it.
All right. Go with it. All right. So he's going to get revenge, you see, on the cops who drove away the John. Wait, why?
You see, because he drove away the John.
Well, he's trying to get the John. He knows the John. The John had the cash. In order to get the John, he had to put out a net. You dig? Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-boo. So he goes to a strip club, the strippiest club in all of New Orleans, with the shaggiest carpet. You get it? And he goes there and he befriends the lady. He's like, I need your help in setting up a trap. We're going to capture a murderer. You dig? She's like, oh, I dig a catfish, you crazy cat. And so they keep putting out obvious hints that they want to find a person. They're like, I want to go home with a well-dressed man who likes Aztec stuff. Yeah. And they have all these snake-themed acts and stuff. You dig? Bibbidi-bop, bibbidi-boop. Yeah. And this got really annoying. I got annoyed with myself. So he puts out an ad in the paper. Yeah, with everything. We got
time.
Here's the joke, Tim. I wrote. I'm just gonna cut to. We got rhyme. That's good. That's good.
Got time.
Ain't no rhyme. Ain't no time for this rhyme. He puts out an ad in the local paper. It says we're looking to hook up with a crazy cat. Bibbidi bop, bibbidi boop. And he describes this super hot snake lady. It's like, I got a snake skirt. I'm like a goddess named Quetzalcoatl. I chose the coup because it rhymes with you easily. All this stuff, bibbidi bop. And he gets the guy to respond. Tim, this is why we call it catfishing.
Bibbidi bop. Yeah.
Bibbidi bop. Because it turns out the first person to ever catfish someone was Catfish.
Oh,
he sets him up. All this stuff I was telling you, this is all the backstory Catfish made up. You dig? Bibbidi bop. And he goes and he's going to kill the murderer. Murderer punches him to death in an alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he steps on his neck. Slowly chokes him out. Yeah, he goes, you're not evil enough. Yep.
Just like John Lennon.
Yep. Oh, that was my John Lennon voice. Yeah. Yep. And then, then rats eat his face. It's pretty messed up.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. As often happens, revenge is thwarted in my story. Folks, let me apologize. That must have been terrible to listen to. I will be skipping this episode on my feed. I understand completely if you do as well.
No.
Now. But you have to admit, it sounded good with the disco backing. Tim, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, great. All
right. Woo! Best episode ever.
Thankfully, mine's short.
I hope it's real short after that one.
As I sometimes do, start the music. I sometimes just quickly go over what would happen if this movie was made into a revenge-themed TV show.
Oh, not a sequel. Wait, is it a sequel? Okay.
TV show sequels. We do this.
Okay, yeah.
This show is called Vice Cop and Hookah. Frank and Shirley are always on the road chasing after that mysterious man who had murdered the hookah. That's what they called them back then in New Orleans. All those hooker friends, all her friends. They went.
Can I interrupt very briefly? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now you're saying hookah. How do you spell that?
Hooka.
Yeah, and then how do we differentiate that from hookah?
Hookah. Hookah is spelled Hookah, right?
Oh, you're right. Okay, never mind.
so
All right, sorry to
smart.
interrupt, Tim. Yeah.
So they're on a mission of revenge.
Uh-huh.
As I said, it's called Vice Cop and Hookah. They travel the highways and byways of the United States looking for this well-dressed man with no name. They caught up to him in the Northeast for the case of the Boston bloodbath, but he got away. Then they caught up to him while skiing for the case of the Colorado carnage, but he got away.
Oh, we're going to alliteration.
Then they headed south again for the Alabama annihilation case, where he again got away.
Oh, I thought you were doing alphabetical there, Tim. It was B,
Nope.
C. I'm like, oh my God, so you can do the alphabet? This mad bastard.
Then they went to Texas
Uh-huh.
for the Texas extermination.
Oh, it doesn't...
Because I couldn't find a T. But
How
he
about
got
this?
away again.
Wait, Texas termination.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Or the East Texas extermination.
Eh.
By the time Frank and Hookah got to season 3, they decided to change the name of the title of the show because people didn't like Frank being called Vice Cop. So it was now called Frank and Hookah.
I knew it.
So sometimes Frank's old partner, Mayor, he'd call and ask, how's that cheap $100 hookah you're dating doing? Did she leave you yet because you're an asshole?
You fucking pile of human shit.
So, of course, every episode of the show had this mysterious man killing 3 ladies, and the production team had to make 3 fake torsos with matching nipples. This was on cables, HBO in the early 80s.
Did we get to see the mysterious murderer do it? Is that how they get him paid? They're like, hey, so it's a good gig. Every week you do a new episode, you get to rub 3 naked women's chests with oil. He's like, I'm in.
They didn't have to pay him much. Eventually, in season 6, they decided to change the name to Frank and Shirley, as now the show is getting confused with T.J. Hooker. And in season 7, the actor who played Frank had to leave the show because he lost the use of his legs in a tragic hooker accident, and his daughter bought him a crappy discount wheelchair, made out of balsa wood with 1 wheel.
Did she make him wear bell bottoms?
Yes. Then they hired a new lady cop to be Shirley's partner. Her name was Laverne.
Oh!
The show is now called Laverne and the Hookah. Thus, after 7 long seasons, they had an hour-long finale, which they caught the well-dressed killer. Turns out, he's a man who believed in sacrificing ladies to an Aztec god. But mostly, he just liked rubbing oil on ladies' naked bodies. His name was Wally.
Wally. Oh, that's his name all along? Wally.
In this final season, the
yeah.
final episode took place in the town of Massacre, Oklahoma, and was called the Massacre. There you go. Yeah.
Wait, Tim, is Massacre, Oklahoma a real place?
Sure, of course.
Ah, that was a good one.
As always, we go long. So long.
Yeah, but people, I mean, actually, this isn't that bad. It's only people like this. People tune in. They're like, I want to hear more of their witticisms.
Okay. So, George, I'm going to just tell you right away.
Yep.
He made like 5 films, I think.
Uh-huh.
One of them is Lost, which I wish I could see because it stars Tim Rooney, the son of
Mickey Rooney. No.
But that film is lost. There's no prints available.
What was it called?
You can find it. I forgot. Oh, Death Brings Roses. That's what it's called? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No.
Is it called Breakfast at Tiffany's?
No, I forget the name of that movie. But George, he's got one more movie on Tubi. And
You're not.
We might as well. A movie called Death Brings Roses from 1975.
Can't believe this. What's wrong with us? This is like, Tim, this is like mutually assured destruction.
It's on Tubi.
All right. So what's it? Death Brings Roses?
Yes, on Tubi.
Oh my God. Do you know offhand? So this was his last film.
You want me to read the synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a brain-frying epic of pimps, sex workers, killers, mob bosses, double crosses deep inside the underbelly of the French Quarter Club. Oh, good. It's got Ronald Tennant.
Is that the guy? Is he our favorite?
Yes. He's in
Nice.
Death Brings Roses.
Is there Aztec gods?
Doesn't say it in the description.
Man, it's gotta be.
Maybe it'll surprise us.
I can't believe we're doing another one.
If there's oil rubbing, I'm gonna be like,
Here's what I'm hoping. Since we checked out in that LinkedIn, which looks like he might be Jack Weiss. I hope that Jack Weiss is with us and has like a Google vanity search that goes, and he's like, wow, somebody has reviewed my movie Crypt of Dark Secrets. Then he's like, same guys just did my movie Mardi Gras Massacre. And now I hope, hey, if you are Jack Weiss, please write to us here at SETI BIMCO with an E at the end of Gmail. We would love to have you on. I would love to talk to this person.
oh, jeez.
Yeah. How fucking great would that be?
It would be. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be fucking.
Don't meet your heroes, George, sometimes.
Well,
have you ever met your hero? And,
Well, Tim, I met you.
Skitty scat.
Skibbity
What if you met your hero? What if he's like skibbity scat, skibbity boo? I'm here to talk to you.
Jack Weiss, if you come on and you speak the entire time in scat, this would be, I think I would just be like, well, how does it get any better than this? We should just end SETI BIMCO at that point and be like, yep, we've achieved peak BIMCO. Oh, what happened? You just bopped out for a second.
I'm checking letters.
Oh.
We're still clogged up.
Still clogged up.
Slow down on the emails, everybody.
Jack Weiss, you could write us there. Everybody else, stop writing so Jack Weiss can contact us.
All right. What's so long? That's that. Write us, like us, and love us. SETI_BIMCO on Instagram, on Threads. Listen to us everywhere. Good Pods, Podchaser. We've been like number 1 on Good Pods under the performing arts category for some reason. I really don't know how Good Pods is. Anyway. Oh, I gotta go. My dog's barking.
All right, I gotta go. My cats are scratch up my furniture.
We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
Well, 6 days I've been with her, right? 6 days. Can't get rid of her. She's already talking about a house and kids and all those things. Hell, I don't want to get married, especially to no damn prostitute.
Married? You asked her to marry you?
No.
She asked you to marry her. You're the only ones talking about marriage.
Nobody said anything, but I know broads.
You know broads. The only thing that's grating on you is that she's a prostitute, an ex-sergeant of vice, and a hooker. That's what I call a marriage made in heaven. But I feel sorry for her. She's getting the worst of it. She's getting you.